This is video number 1 of ThatsYzanKhalil's reflections. Alright, so last week, or rather a few weeks ago, I went to Jummah prayer, and one specific thing that stuck out that the Sheikh mentioned was the importance of kinship and keeping the ties of kinship. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, and fear Allah through whom you demand your mutual rights, and do not cut the relations of the wombs, which is kinship. This is Surah An-Nisa, which is number 4, Ayah 1. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes Muslims to be kind and merciful with friends and family in all kinds of matters and dealings, as we know. Now, of course, this reminds me of, in particular, that we should always strive as Muslimin that if we're going to spend $1 on something, that we should first try to spend it in the way of a Muslim. And of course, if you can't spend $1 in the way of a Muslim, then of course, by all means, you spend $1 towards a non-Muslim. Which is completely fine, by the way. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will make you to be a means of helping that person and aiding him or her with whatever difficulty, if they are in fact going through a difficulty, or in helping them support themselves, friends, family, or kids, so on and so forth. Off the bat, we may say to ourselves, what's really the big deal, of spending $1? Like, if I spend $1 towards a Muslim or a non-Muslim, it's not really a big deal, and it doesn't really matter, right? So this is a general, a common theme that is likely to happen and likely to be contemplated. But generally, I mean, if we want to understand why that dollar, or the $10 or the $20 or whatever it may be, is very significant and important, is the following. So basically, the concept behind that dollar is as follows, right? Which is basically, if we think about it, if we were to fundamentally keep this fresh in our mind, to make every effort when we spend, that we're spending towards giving someone that is a Muslim, right? For example, if person A and person B both have the same exact shirt that I want to buy, and person A is a Muslim and person B is a non-Muslim, of course I would want to try my best, if I'm not going out of my means or out of my ways or whatever it is, and it's relatively convenient, is to spend in the path of towards a Muslim, because you're gonna get the same exact shirt anyway, and whatever the case may be. So I mean, looking at the bigger picture, right? So you may say, like, it's not really a big deal, whatever. The bigger picture is the following. So generally, we're all working towards one big goal of developing the community for the future, and to be able to support our family, our friends, our relatives, and most importantly, which I think is most importantly, the future, which is the youth, because essentially we want to provide the youth with a strong foundation that they can work off of, and inshallah, in hopes of something great coming out of it. So essentially that $1, right, consistently, if we keep trying to spend within the community and help out the Muslimin as best as possible, a direct correlation to spending within the community would essentially be that. Uh, so actually, rather, let's look at the opposite side of it first, and then I'll go into what would be the effects of spending within the community as best as possible. So essentially, I let's say I have a 9 to 5 job or whatever it may be, and I'm bringing money from an external source from outside of the community, and I put it in my pocket, and I spend it also outside of the community, right? So I'm bringing money from outside of the community, and I'm spending it also outside of the community. Um, so essentially, I mean, right off the bat, we can see that uh, there's going to be no to, if any, um, benefit to building the community at all, since I'm not spending any money in the community. So therefore, there's no money being generated and circulated throughout the community. So now let's look at the other side of it. Right, the other side of it would be that if I were to get money from an external source and then put it in my pocket and spend within the community, right? Now that money goes into the pocket of someone that's within the community, and then they may spend it somewhere else in the community, and they may spend it somewhere else, and so on and so forth. Now that's just one person, but the bigger perspective of this is if we all did this, right? So if we all did this, and we all made a big, if we all strove very hard to do this, what you would see happening is that there would be a lot more cash flow, right? There would be a lot more cash flowing throughout the community, uh, basically allowing the community to further be developed at a faster rate. So essentially, instead of one person, one individual, taking you know taking money and saving it and saving it and saving it, and then in hopes of building something in the future, or further developing their business, or developing the educational system, or whatever the case may be. Essentially, if we all brought the money in and helped each other out as best as possible, the community would essentially be further developed a lot faster. And with that being said, if the community is being developed at a faster rate, as a community is developed and further developed, it also correlates with bringing new people into the community. And therefore, when you bring more people into the community, now there's even more money circulating throughout the community. So it'll actually increase. I mean, generally it should be like an exponential growth on a chart, with the more people that are coming into the community. So the community is a baseline where it is right now, and then the community is developed a little bit. Now more people are coming in. Let's say 10 people are coming in now because of that development, and then now we have more money, so now we further develop it. And now instead of 10 people, now 50 people are coming. So now there's more money coming into the community, and therefore faster growth again. And then more people come in, and so on and so forth, until we get to a point where the community is just we have a lot of money in the community circulating around, and everything is being developed. And then after this community is developed, then in fact we can move on to other communities and help out further. So I mean, that was to put a closing on the little lecture and reflection that I had. I just wanted to say that there's a lot more videos gonna come very soon. I'm planning on doing a video a day on just something small, maybe about 10 minutes of just something that I'm reflecting over, just to refresh our heads and maybe spark some new ideas and so on and so forth. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.